All right, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back. Episode 15 of the podcast here with two Conchs with Capt Chad.
What's going on?
And myself. We just giving you guys a heads up, an update of what's going on, what we've been doing. Got some fishing going on. We've been out there today. Actually, we're taking a break from it. We got some weather rolling in here. It looks like today and tomorrow. So the winds are high and seas are rough, so we're just kind of doing some boat maintenance. I'm getting a new motor on my boat, the 26 Yellowfin, which is good. So that's just in time for the season because we have a lot of charters later this month and next month and really on into August. But what's been going on with you, Capt Chad? How's everything been going, man?
Good, man. Last time had the private guy for the month of February, and then, he left the 3rd or the 4th of March, and then since then just been kind of been fishing for a couple of days throughout this month. So the fishing's been pretty good for the most part, weather providing, depending on which day you're going out. So
heck yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know we've been doing some of the trips. Most of them have been like the reef wreck trips. Sometimes in the bay too. The bone fishing's still been pretty good. We've been doing that a little bit with the weather, especially when it's rough. So that's been good. Been catching the bonefish on the flats. Been seeing some permits show up in tarpon. We're still kind of early though for the big schools and the big number of those guys showing up on the flats and in the by the bridges. But we've been seeing some as well offshore. They're starting to kind of come in on some of the wrecks. I know.
Yeah, I was out the other day. I marked them. Pretty decently, but they just.
Yeah, those permit, man, they're fun to catch on the wrecks. I know that, there's kind of some preparation behind each trip, that would be kind of more like a wreck. We're going to target them, some of the wrecks that aren't not too far, but they get big balls of them get schooled up on there. So just to run through, if you're going to set up for, let's say, like a wreck trip specifically, what would you kind of do the day before, or kind of your thoughts kind of going into that whole trip?
For the wreck trips, generally depends on, what the I had a guy Saturday I fished, and he only wanted to fish wrecks. So that's all he wanted to do for the whole entire day. Didn't want to mess with patries and stuff like that. So usually if I get a group of people on the boat that just predominantly want to fish the wrecks, I make sure that I have some sort of live bait, whether it be pinfish or pilchards or ballyhoo. And then, if we're going after the permit, usually you're going to need live crabs with jig heads and stuff like that, and then there's been a couple African pompano caught over the last few weeks, so with those guys, they'll eat the live bait, but they also like to eat squid too. So, as it goes for fishing the wrecks, predominantly I make sure to have a mix of some sort of dead bait, whether it be squid or ballyhoo, and then I'll try to have pinfish or pilchards or blue runners, something live bait wise, because when I'm drifting the wreck, sometimes I like to do a dead bait and a live bait just to figure out what the fish are gonna do, because some days they'll eat the dead bait over the live bait, and then other days they don't eat the live bait, they won't touch the dead bait. So generally for that scale, mainly just that, and then I'll bring a couple blocks of chum, and depending on the conditions, some days I might anchor up on the wrecks, put some chum blocks out and just sit there and basically sit and wait for the fish to come through, and then other days you gotta be out there.
That's a good game plan. And then, just because you never know, I guess, what they're going to be biting or what's, going to be the hot bait that day. And the wreck fishing, a lot of times people will, like to target different species, the bigger stuff like the African pompano, like Chad was saying, or permit, mutton snapper, if you want to get kind of that bigger stuff.
Amberjacks too.
Amberjacks are on there too, which is cool. And then a lot of the action though, if you kind of, fish on the reef, that's going to be, you can catch a good amount of fish too doing that. How would you prepare if someone just wants to stick on, say, the reef with kids? Or
generally, if I have kids on the boat and we're going to do a patch reef fishing, depending on what I have, whether it's a full hour, usually I'll take a little case of chum, I'll get some oatmeal with me. I'll bring pinfish with me also as well, because sometimes when we're fishing those patch reefs, you'll catch some big fish in there. But generally, if I'm patch reef fishing, I'll bring some fresh ballyhoo. leave there, go anchor up 30, 40 feet, put some chum out, throw some oats, and then kind of depict on what the fish really want to eat. I gravitate more towards shrimp and silver sides when I'm doing a lot of my patchery fishing, and then I'll use probably squid, but really it's all in the parameters of what the fish want,
Right.
So, but yeah, usually patcheries, chum, some dead bait, some live, and then as it goes from the setups for the rods and reels, usually lighter rods and reels, 20-pound, 30-pound braid, 12 to 15-pound fluorocarbon, a little hair hook or a little snapper jig, and it's been working pretty well in the batteries. They haven't. Some days have been good, other days haven't. But all last week it was pretty good for me for most of the days that I was out.
Yeah. Heck yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, and I know sometimes the kids like that because it is a lot of action. You can get good, good dinner, with the snapper and all that.
As it goes for that, like say if I got a 6-hour reef and wreck, we got kids on the boat. Usually, a lot of the times I try to go to the patch reef first, try to get the yellowtails up, catch the yellowtails because usually can get them to come up to the boat. A lot of visual fishing and stuff like that, and then you got a lot of the other species of fish that show up to the boat as well. So as it goes for the patch reef and stuff like that, try to start off with that at least. If people want to get some fish for dinner or something like that, that's more of the easier target to go for. And depending on how much fish they want to keep or anything of that nature, then slide out to the wrecks after that and try to see if you can, get a bigger snapper or a bigger species of fish that's out of the wrecks.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's a good kind of strategy to go by. It keeps everybody engaged and you can mix it up. And some people, maybe they don't want to do, the reef or maybe the wrecks, and maybe they just want to kind of target like the sailfish right now. I know those guys have been around kingfish and wahoo, all that type of stuff, tunas. What would your thought process if you just wanted to target, those species only on say like a half day or something like that?
Half day, if, we got guys on the boat that are predominantly just wanting to go catch sailfish. Obviously you're going to need the kite. You're going to have to fly the kite for that. As it goes bait wise, live bait's going to be key with kite fishing, and it'll be a mix of goggle eyes, thread fins, pilchards, or blue runners, and
I know you like those big blue runners.
they work,
They do work.
Like I said, what was it, a month ago? Yeah, a month ago. That's when I was out with a private guy and ended up catching some really big blue runners in one day, and he said, hey, let's go fly the kite, you think they'll eat? I'm like, of course they will.
Yeah.
Caught 2 nice sailfish that day, and I think the first blue runner the first sailfish ate was, I think, 11 inches, and the other one was maybe 13, 14 inches.
Yeah, big bait. Well,
It worked. It worked.
That's cool, yeah. And then a lot of times, you get other species, I guess, flying those kites, with different, with the baits.
Yeah, like bait predominantly, like if you got pilchards, guys, the sailfish are going to eat them, but as it goes for your bycatch, you'll eat the blue runners too, but it increases your bycatch when you're sailfishing. If you got some nice pilchards or bycatch, you'll have blackfin kingfish will eat them, same thing with the wahoo too. I fly a lot of blue runners and I do a lot of pilchards, but it just depends on the preference of what's in the area and what swims through. But the thing about the kite fishing is it's real visual too.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because you can see the baits kicking on the top of the water, and with the 2 sailfish that I caught with the one guy, we saw both those fish eat, right next to the boat, probably 40, 50 feet off the boat, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a good time. It's kind of heating up. It's right now, just the first day of spring, so we're kind of getting into that, that fishery of all different type of species coming in. So it's nice with the sailfish around, the reef and the reefs, a little bit of everything right now. So the permit bite should heat up. Looks like in the next month or 2 months.
Yeah, it should get better here in a couple of weeks. I mean, you know them, they can be funny. Some days they want to bite, other days they don't. I have a feeling it's just going to be like one day someone goes out and they're just going to be doing their thing and chewing.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Trying to target those guys and target too. Just too, so
I want to say they're slowly kind of trickling through.
Yeah.
Not the big guys yet, but some of the 60 to 80 pound class, I think. Here in a few weeks, you're going to see the bigger migration. You're going to see the triple digits coming through, which time of the year, you get a lot of really good chances because there's such a big influx of them here.
Yeah, that's a fun fish to catch too, and you can catch them a variety of different ways. Mainly mullet. We use a lot of times by like the 7 Mile and Long Key Bridge, where the crabs at Bahia Honda were typically pretty good. And then you catch like permit, tarpon fishing as well by the bridge.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You guys do get a lot of that influx coming through. Where you've had days where you've been out there tarpon fishing and you've caught some nice permit.
Yeah. So that's fun. But anything else? I mean, it's the fishing's heating up, so we're looking forward to it. And if you do want to fish with Capt Chad, he'll be he's got the 32. He'll be running out of Isabella here, and then I got the 26. So if we can get you guys out there, feel free to message or DM either one of us. And if you guys like the podcast, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. And we'll keep providing you guys some more information on the next one. So until then, tight lines.